Let's hit some anytime goal scorers as well as save shots on goal for some of these goalies. Give me both teams to score in the first period. That's coming in at plus 185 compared to the over 1.5 that is at minus 120. Okay, you guys ready? Let's make some freaking money. It's time for Pocket with Jo. Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Jo here at SportsGrid. It's time for Pocket with Jo over here on SportsGrid TV, on X, as well as on YouTube. I hope everyone's having a fantastic start to their day. Now, we had a ton of action out there on the ice. We were able to get some players for their goals, for their points. One thing we didn't get was Ovi. I am shocked that Ovi was not able to even get a goal on the board as the Washington Capitals made us sweat that one out, proving again that this team gets off to those slow starts. They, in their matchup versus the Ducks, were 2-2 going into the second period, and 4 of their 7 goals came in that third. So definitely something we have to consider moving on to the next game for the Washington Capitals, which they'll play in tomorrow, is if they're going to get off to a slow start again. We were seeing that trend at home, but proving last night on the road that they were able to do the same thing. Yeah, Noah Hannafin of the Vegas Golden Knights with that point last night got you some plus money haul. So great to see. You guys, and Sidney Crosby, 2 points. I hope you guys got it on Game Time Decisions. 2+ points for Sidney Crosby. I gave out over there at plus 250. So he always comes out to play nice and strong versus Vegas. Let's jump into today's slate. Light slate out there on the board. Only 4 games now, 4 games that are highly impactful. We're looking at a Vancouver versus Calgary game that these 2 teams are fighting for a wild card spot. There's actually 4 teams fighting for that wild card spot between Utah, the St. Louis Blues, Vancouver, and Calgary. The Ducks are just sitting on the edge of that. I don't think they will be able to get things done, but it's going to be really interesting. And then we have the Red Wings, who are being on this losing streak. You guys, they need to get a win. Now, Peter Mrazek will be making his debut. So can we see a debut out of Peter Mrazek like we've seen out of Spencer Knight with those 2 goaltenders going to their opposite team? So we'll see what we'll see out of Peter Mrazek. I'm excited for it. We got the Ducks taking on Utah. Like I said, Utah battling for a playoff spot as well in that wild card race. And then the Montreal Canadiens making a push right now. They're on the second night of a back-to-back after taking on Vancouver last night, getting the win. Now taking on the Seattle Kraken. So let's jump into all 4 of these games. Again, if you can't hang around, we'll do the recap at the end of the show. I'll probably try to post just the clip of the recap as well, so you guys can watch it nice and fast and not have to jump to the bookmarks. But otherwise, just jump to that bookmark. It will be below on YouTube. I will also timestamp it over on X as well for you guys that can't spend the next 25 minutes-ish with me. So we're going to look at the first game here. The Buffalo Sabres taking on the Detroit Red Wings. Like I said, the Detroit Red Wings need to break this losing streak. They have one of the hardest schedules down the stretch here, and this team really fighting, sitting 7th in the Atlantic. They lost their last 6. That Monday loss to the Ottawa Senators was a brutal loss for this team. They came out versus the Ottawa Senators, and that was a game where they went up to start. The Senators end up getting the win. They went against Ullmark. Ullmark was outstanding between the pipes. And when I say outstanding, like really outstanding, I've never seen him play that strong. You look at the Red Wings, and they put up, 49 shots on his goal. He only allowed 1 in. In that second period alone, you guys, he stopped 27 shots on his net. So the Detroit Red Wings were firing. They came against an elite goaltender that was just dialed completely in on that night. If it wasn't for Ullmark, the Red Wings would have won that game like 7-2. They were so hot offensively getting those shots, and they just didn't convert into goals. So looking at this matchup now versus the Buffalo Sabres with Lankanen expected, are they going to be able to find that same energy to get up in this game and pepper him? I do think they will. We're looking at a weak power play here for the Buffalo Sabres, only converting at 16.6%. 22nd on the kill. Their kill is only killing off 76.84% of their opponent's power plays, and they're allowing these high danger shots. They've allowed 255 high danger shots. The Red Wings have the playmakers to get these high danger shots on again tonight, and I expect them to be able to convert. Now, where do I expect those conversions? I expect those conversions on the power play. You look at the Red Wings, they do have still the third best power play in the league. It's converting at 28.2%. Like I said, weak kill here for the Sabres. So give me the power play points in this one tonight. But I'm going to look at the Red Wings to come out right away out of the gate and get the win. The Red Wings in the first period on the money line, you guys know I hate laying juice. I'm just not about that. I love looking for plus money. Does it bite me? Absolutely, it does. So if you guys want to look at the money line, first period, it's coming in at minus 140. We know the Sabres are a team that normally can make that push in the first period. But with Peter Mrazek getting the start here, I'm looking for him to shine in this first period at least. We know he had his struggles with Chicago, but I'm really hoping he gets the support by the Red Wings defense. Now, their defense has been on a slide. Over the 6-game losing streak, they have had one of the worst kills in the league at 69.54%, and they've been allowing 3.8 goals per game. So Peter Mrazek absolutely needs to prove to the Detroit Red Wings he was a good answer for them. Let's see what he can do. I'm going to look at the Red Wings first period puck line, laying a half a goal. Look for that offensive support. Even if we go into the second period 2-1, I just need the Red Wings to get up on that puck line in the first period. We're going to lay the half a goal. It's coming in up plus 154. I like where we're going. Like I said, the Red Wings have one of the hardest stretch into the postseason. So I'm not sure they're going to get there, you guys. It's a really hard spot for them. But I do think they get a win in the first period here. Now, looking at goal scorers, Patrick Kane for the power play point I'll take tonight. He's coming in at plus 240. Apologies there. He's on the second line and the top power play unit. He has 31 points in 31 career games versus his home team of the Buffalo Sabres. So I am looking for Patrick Kane to show up in this one. Dylan Larkin, I think you can look at too. Dylan Larkin for the anytime goal. It's a little undervalued here at plus 140, but I do think he still can find the back of the net. He scored in his last 3 games, and he scored 9 goals over his last 10 versus the Buffalo Sabres. So he has proven that he can score on this Buffalo team. And then I'm going to look at Lucas Raymond. He's got 66 points, 22 goals, 44 assists. I'll take Lucas Raymond here for the power play point at plus 200. Now, if you're looking at the other side for Buffalo, we know that we can count on Tage Thompson to play really strong in this one. He scored in his last 5 games, you guys. Tage Thompson has been on absolute fire. We're still getting him at plus 170 for the anytime goal. He's lit the lamp in the last 5 versus Detroit as well. So he's proven that he can score on this team. The over has been the trend between these two, but I'm not going to touch it because I'm going to have a little bit of faith in Peter Mrazek to come out nice and strong. DeBrincat anytime goal, 30th goal, Blake. I love where you're going with DeBrincat. So gotta love those guys to come out and get their 30th. We did get Forsberg for his 25th goal last night, so we're able to cash in on that. But yeah, you guys keep throwing out those players that are coming up against some milestones. I try to check all of these games, but unless I have a really good feeling about some player, I won't be diving into his numbers. So I love when you're throwing that out for sure. Yeah, Buffalo does have a lot of wins in the first period. So if you think Buffalo is going to, my thing is I'm looking at the Red Wings with what they came out of that last game versus the Senators, even though they lost, with how many shots they put on Allmark, I do think they're going to get up fast on again. They are desperate to break this losing streak. So I think it can be a 2-1 first period. There, if you want to take both teams to score, if you're a little nervous, both teams to score in the first period coming in at plus 136. So the books are thinking both teams to score because you guys know the both teams to score, sometimes we're getting at plus 160. So we're not getting as much value there. Right away, that tells me the books are thinking both teams will. And we know Buffalo has been their strongest at getting up to start and then giving away these games. So definitely something you want to look at there is the both teams to score. I'm going to count on Peter Mrazek to play solid in this first period and just look at the Red Wings in that first period on the money line. I am so glad you're a Red Wings fan. Let's go and let's get things done tonight. Let's move on to Vancouver. Vancouver taking on Calgary. Now, I am a Calgary Flames fan, so maybe a little bit of bias here, but we look at this matchup. Vancouver has been stronger on the road. They got their backup goaltender that they pulled back up from the AHL, and then Dustin Wolf getting the start, at least expected here. We don't have confirmation for Calgary. With Dustin Wolf in goal, I'm looking for this first period to stay under 1.5 goals. The Vancouver Canucks know they're going to have to give the support to their goaltending, but Dustin Wolf has been able to stand on his head. Calgary has got off to some slower starts in the first period as well. When we look at these two teams, Calgary needs to stay out of the box for sure, because the power play here is converting at 22.5% for Vancouver. Calgary takes some of the most minutes at 10.3 penalty minutes per game. Vancouver's also taking the penalty minutes at 9.3, but the power play, the weakness here for Calgary is their kill. Their kill is too weak. The kill here is strong for Vancouver. So I'm looking at, as Vancouver can afford to be in the box, Calgary can't. Calgary goes in the box, it's going to equal trouble for them. It's also going to equal trouble for this total. I do think Dustin Wolf can do enough on the Calgary side to limit this game to a lower scoring one. Can Vancouver lock down on the defensive side? Well, they can on the kill, and I expect this game, because it means so much to these teams, to be that lower scoring game like we saw between the Ottawa Senators and the Detroit Red Wings on Monday night. Give me the under in the first period. It's dangerous at minus 112 for the under 1.5. I know, but I do think we hit the under 1.5 in the first period. If we don't, I'm coming back in on the under 1.5 in the second period. I do think this game stays under the total of 5.5. So watch for that. If we get a hugely high scoring first period going over this total 1.5, like a 2-1 style, come back in on the under 1.5. In that second period, we're going to see either the first or second period lockdown. I'm expecting it to be the first, but again, I'll come back in on that second period if we don't see it. I do think this game has every possibility of staying under the 5.5. My only concern here is overtime. Both of these teams are battling it out in the Pacific. Both of these teams are fighting for that last wild card spot. So we're seeing the Vancouver Canucks 5th in the Pacific. They have 69 points in 64 games. So Calgary actually has 70 points and a game in hand, sitting 4th in the Pacific. So they definitely want to get this win tonight, pull away a little bit more from Vancouver as these two teams battle it out in the Pacific. Now, when we look at how these teams have played this season, this is the 4th meeting this season. Calgary has won 2 of the 3 meetings already. Their last matchup was in December, 3-1 style game. That's what I'm looking for here. I'm looking for that style of play between these two teams. Now, Vancouver's on the second night of a back-to-back. They did play Montreal last night as well, so you got to worry about those tired legs. I think it's also their 3rd game in 5 nights. Calgary's coming in rested. They got that win versus Montreal on Saturday, 1-0 with Dustin Wolf in goal. So look for that, the Calgary Flames to be rested coming in. They have Colorado on deck, so they need to get this win here, pick up these points tonight, because that's going to be a freaking hard game versus the Colorado Avalanche on Friday. And then they start a road trip, and we know how Calgary has been out there on the road. They've had these struggles on the road. They're sitting right around 500 out there on the road this season. So not what a 4-game road trip, not what they need for their playoff hopes if it goes the way that some of those other games did. So I'm looking for Calgary to come out strong. First period under 1.5, you guys. That's where I'm going to go for my best bet in this game. Okay, Jamie, you're rolling in with the LA Kings fan. So you're going to go with Buffalo, Montreal, Flames, and Ducks. I don't hate where you're going at all. I do think Montreal is alive again tonight for sure in that matchup. And I'm happy to hear that you are going with my Calgary Flames. I think they can get it done tonight, you guys. If you want to look at the Calgary Flames straight up on the money line, the problem is the juice. I don't like it. It's minus 146 for the Calgary Flames to get the win. The Vancouver Canucks are a plus 122 dog on the road. Let's talk now about the Anaheim Ducks taking on the Utah Hockey Club. Now, the Ducks are coming in at plus 225, Utah at minus 280, total of 6.5. The 6.5 juice to the under at -130, plus 1.5 for the Ducks on the puck line, which we know the Ducks have been really competitive in these games, covering those puck lines, coming in at -110, and Utah -1.5 at -110. I can't get behind a puck line at -110. I just can't do it for a favorite at all. I do think Utah has every ability to get the win over the Anaheim Ducks, who are on the second night of a back-to-back, but we got to find a different way to bet it. So let's look at the goaltending matchup here, John Gibson versus Vermelka. When we look at the Anaheim Ducks, they lost at home last night to the Washington Capitals. They started off nice and strong, you guys. They rolled into that second period 2-2 apiece, but allowed those 4 goals in the third. Not what they needed to do. Now, Troy Terry didn't get on the board last night, so definitely looking at Troy Terry here. 48 points, 17 goals, and 31 assists. Anaheim has won the both meetings versus Utah this season. So the last game was a high-scoring 5-4 win for the Anaheim Ducks, sitting 6th in the Pacific. Now, when we look at Utah has been solid on the power play and in the face-off since coming out of the break. So I like what we've seen out of Utah. They've been playing great. They've been getting these high-danger shots. They have lost the last 2, though. They're off that loss to the Leafs in a shootout on a Monday, 4-3. So that was kind of a heartbreaking loss for this team out there. They're at Seattle on Friday to start a 3-game road trip, Vancouver on Sunday, and the Oilers on Tuesday. So look ahead to a road trip here is coming up, but they need every win they can get. They're sitting 6th in the Central, and they're 3 points out of making that last wild card spot. Battling it out, like I said, with Vancouver, with Calgary, with the St. Louis Blues. So look for Utah to bring it tonight. How are we going to bet them because they're such a favorite? I'm going to look at their team total. Utah has a team total of 3.5, and currently you can get over 3.5 at -120. It's the best value I can find on betting this team. We know the Ducks, even if they're scoring in this game, are going to be giving up those goals. They have a weak power play here for the Ducks. It's only converting at 12.2%. Their kill is weak as well at 73.9. And I do think with Utah, how they've been playing as of late on that power play, how they've been winning these faceoffs, they can score on the power play on them tonight. So I will take Utah's team total over 3.5. They've scored at least 3 goals in their last 5 games. So they have been, or 4 of their last 5. So they have been able to get those goals on the board. And where are we going to look for these players? Now, I do like the players tonight. Clayton Keller for the anytime goals plus 150. But what's crazy is 2+ points for Clayton Keller is at plus 150 as well. They're expecting him to get these 2 points on the board. He's got 73 points. So 2 points out of Clayton Keller will put him at 75. If you want to just take him for the 2+ points at plus 150 or the goal at plus 150, I do think strong way to go. He's got 23 goals, 50 assists. I do think he can step up. Now, Logan Cooley, Dylan Guenther, I'd look at too. You can parlay Clayton Keller and Dylan Guenther for a point tonight. You're going to get plus money. If you want to throw Logan Cooley in there, 47 points, 17 goals, 30 assists. It will be Clayton Keller for me that I'll be going in and betting. I do think he gets the goal at plus 150. Can he get 2 goals is my question in this. Well, it is the Anaheim Ducks, and I do think Clayton Keller is the playmaker that you want to look at for the goals tonight. 2+ goals for Clayton Keller at plus 1,000. You guys, I've got to put a little bit of a sprinkle on it. Dylan Guenther's plus 1,000 for 2+ goals as well. And then you moving down to Logan Cooley. I don't think it's Logan Cooley who gets it, but it's plus 1,500. It should be a good matchup for these Utah players to be able to get things done. And Logan Cooley, there you go, throwing out Logan Cooley. His anytime goal is great as well. The goal for Logan Cooley, yeah, you look at Logan Cooley, he has been strong out there. I do like what he brings to the table, that is for sure. So, and then first period, Jason, in this one, you know, I think the first period should go over 1.5 goals, right? You look at John Gibson, he allows these goals to go in. Vermelka as well. The Anaheim Ducks will be coming off a game in which they were able to put those goals up quick in the first period yesterday. So I do think this first period can go over that total 1.5, and both teams should be able to score. Let's look at the first period odds. I looked at the first period money line and I hated it. The first period total goals over the 1.5 is -148. That's why I hated it there. If you want to look at both teams to score, it's coming in at plus 160. I do think both teams can get on the board in the first period, but I do think my favorite bet is just looking at Utah and Utah to be able to go over their 3.5 goals. So I do think it's a solid way to go. I'm not going against it. I wouldn't bet for the not both teams to score in the first period, but at plus 160, it gives me a little bit of angst here for sure in this one, but we should see it. Okay, and last but not least, the Montreal Canadiens taking on the Seattle Kraken. Now, Montreal coming off that win last night versus the Vancouver Canucks. Let's just pull up odds on this. All odds are over on FanDuel, you guys. Montreal rolling in at plus 126, so Seattle Kraken at minus 152. Now we do have a total of 5.5, minus 110 to, or sorry, plus 110 to the under 5.5. So the over is juicy at minus 140. I struggle to see this one going over the total because I don't have very much faith in Seattle to score a ton of goals. Now we do have backup goaltending, and we have Montreal second night of back-to-back, so you can see offenses really fall apart. Both of these teams have identical average goals per game. Both of them averaging 2.94 goals per game. We could get there with the over, but I don't love the total in this one. What I'm going to look at is just Montreal. I think Montreal should come out nice and strong. Their defense has held the Kraken to 2 goals or less in 3 of the last 5 meetings with the Seattle Kraken, and I'm expecting similar performance in this one. They beat Vancouver last night, holding Vancouver to only 2 goals. They were able to put up 4. This is their 4th game, though, in 7 days. So we do start to see that breakdown. And that's why I'm not loving this one to the under or the over there. I do think defense will step up, but are we going to start to get tired legs? And then are we going to get a Kraken team that can score? That's a big question mark for me. So staying off the total, the last time these teams faced up, the Seattle Kraken blew the total out of the water themselves. They won 8-2 back in October, but Montreal is playing so much better. They're sitting 5th in the Atlantic. They're 2 spots out of a playoff spot, and they're making a major push right now. You guys, I think the Montreal Canadiens can get another win. How are they going to win this game? Well, I do think they can win this game if Cole Caulfield comes out nice and strong. Cole Caulfield for a goal is plus 165. I do think he can hit 2+ points tonight. Yes, I'm going to take Clayton Keller for 2+ points and Cole Caulfield. Different games, but I think both of these players step up. So Cole Caulfield for 2+ points is plus 300. That will put him at 60 points tonight. He has 58 points on the season, 32 goals and 26 assists. Would I be shocked if both of those for Cole Caulfield are goals? Absolutely not. He's been playing so strong, and I do think he's going to be able to get those goals on Joey Daccord in this matchup. So look for Cole Caulfield to come out nice and strong. You guys know his dancing partner is always Nick Suzuki. Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield for a point tonight. That's going to get you great plus money. Now, Nick Suzuki has 10 assists and 5 goals over the last 10 games for the Montreal Canadiens. So Nick Suzuki, definitely look for him to roll hot. So Nick Suzuki, Cole Caulfield parlayed together for their points, and then you can look at Cole Caulfield in any which way. Now, a bright shining light, I guess we'd like to say, for the Seattle Kraken. I know Brandon Montour has been impactful in a lot of these games. He has lit the lamp, but I'm going to look at Shane White here. Shane Wright has been coming out nice and strong for the Seattle Kraken. He has 4 goals in the last 5 games. He has 4 points in the last 5 games. Not all goals, 2 goals, 2 assists. I looked on FanDuel. I was looking to bet him for the point tonight because we would have got great plus money. FanDuel has nothing for him except for the anytime goal. So if on your book you can get Shane Wright of the Seattle Kraken for a point tonight, at anything better than plus 110 or even plus 100, I would look at it. But if you get it, if you're going to have to lay juice, don't touch it. For 4 points in the last 5 games, 2 goals, 2 assists. On FanDuel, you're only getting the goal at plus 330. It's not enough for me to hit him for the goal. Jared McCann here has 45 points, 16 goals, 29 assists. Chandler Stevenson, 43 points, 11 goals, 32 assists. So I can't remember. I was going somewhere with that. I don't want to take a lot on Seattle here because I do think they're limited in this one. I could see, and this is the thing, I could see Montreal winning this 3-2 style game, keeping us under that total of 5.5. I just worry a little bit of how many games they played, second night of a back-to-back, but I do think they should be able to limit the Seattle Kraken. So let's take Montreal first period. That's where I'm going to go. Long story short, give me Montreal in the first period to come out nice and strong in this game. I do think they can win it, but I do worry about that third period with tired legs. So we've also seen the Seattle Kraken lose their last 5 first periods at home. So looking at Montreal in the first period on the money line at plus 112 just seems like the way to go. You could look at him. He has been nice and strong at getting his goals for sure. Clayton Keller at plus 140. Yeah, I'd still look at Clayton Keller at plus 140, even though we've lost 10 points on that one. Okay, you guys ready to do the recap? 4 games. 4 games goes really quick, and we were dead on 25-minute mark. Man, if we could have only bet the under and over on that 25-minute mark when I said it. Canucks, there is no way the Canucks are beating Calgary 4-1. If you actually believe that, put that exact score in. I would love to see you cash on that exact score. Going against my Calgary Flames. What's with that on this Wednesday? Someone woke up and chose violence. Just joking. Okay, let's do the recap here, you guys. 4 games on deck. As we roll into the playoffs here, start seeing really these teams to lock down stronger defensively. We've got 18 to 20 games for most of these teams left on deck. Look for them, the teams making a push to really play solid between the defense and the goaltending. So recap time. Buffalo Sabres versus the Detroit Red Wings. Give me the Red Wings in the first period on the money line. It's too juiced for me at minus 140. You can take a chance. The puck line, I'll lay the half a goal at plus 154. Give me Lucas Raymond for a power play point at plus 200. Patrick Kane for a power play point at plus 240. And Dylan Larkin for a goal at plus 140. On the Buffalo Sabres side, Tage Thompson, hard to deny, out here for his anytime goal at plus 170. Peter Mrazek making his start here for the Red Wings from Chicago. I'm looking for him to play really solid in this matchup. Stay tuned to X and to YouTube for confirmation of what we're going to do on his save shots on goal. The Vancouver Canucks and the Calgary Flames, I do think the first period stays under 1.5 goals. It's coming in at minus 112. If the first period goes over the 1.5 goals, I will be live, like 2-1 style. I'll be live betting the second period under 1.5. Coming back in on that because I do think we get the first or second period a super low scoring. I'll stay up the full game total, but I do expect it to stay under 5.5 with these two teams battling it out for that last wild card spot. We have Vancouver sitting here with 69 points in 64 games, 5th in the Pacific. Calgary with a game in hand with 70 points, sitting 4th in the Pacific. Look for that defensive battle out of these two. The Anaheim Ducks and the Utah Hockey Club. I do think Utah's the right side, but really hard to lay a puck line at minus 110. I will take their team total over 3.5 goals at minus 120. I do expect Clayton Keller to be able to get a goal tonight. That's coming in at plus 150. If you look at 2+ goals for Clayton Keller, plus 1,000, his 2+ points tonight is only at plus 150, 73 points on the season. I do think he can hit 75 tonight. Logan Cooley, a longer shot here. I like Logan Cooley and Dylan Guenther. On the other side for the Ducks, they were off that game versus the Capitals last night. Troy Terry didn't get a goal. I do think he could get a goal tonight for goal number 18. Both teams to score in the first period. It has every ability to cash in this one. Like I said, plus 160 for the two teams to score. I do like Utah's team total better, over 3.5. The Montreal Canadiens and the Seattle Kraken. I think Montreal is live. I'm worried about the second night of back-to-back and how many games they played over the last week. So give me Montreal first period on the money line at plus 112. You could alt puck line it. I do think they win it by a goal in that first period. Laying the half a goal on the alt puck line is going to get you incredible plus money, almost 2-1 to your money. They're sitting 5th in the Atlantic. They're making a playoff push here, you guys. only 2 points out of a playoff spot right now. Give me Caulfield for the goal at plus 165. 2+ points for Caulfield coming in at plus 300. That will hit him to the 60-point mark on the season. And then on the other side for Seattle, I expect this team to be limited. They have a team total of 3.5. It is highly juiced to the under at minus like 160. So you can't bet that. But I expect them to be held to under on their goals. But Shane Wright here of the Seattle Kraken, he's been strong as of late. Now, I can't get him for the point on FanDuel. If you can get him for the point on your book with some good plus money, I would look at it. He has 4 points in the last 5 games, 2 goals and 2 assists. FanDuel's only offering the anytime goal, and it's too risky, even at plus 330 for me to put any money on. But Montreal first period in this one, and then Caulfield for a great day. I won't be shocked if this one stays under the total of 5.5. I just worry a little bit about the defense here of Montreal as we get late into this game in that third period. But Seattle struggles to score on the regular, and they struggle to score as well on Montreal. So you guys, it should be a great day out there on the ice. I appreciate each and every single one of you for being here with me on the daily. Let's make some freaking money today. That is for sure. It's a great day for it. Now, stay tuned for my Cup of Joe. If you hit my Cup of Joe yesterday, you got Arizona State plus the 6.5, as well as their player Mason for over his points. So hopefully you guys hit on that. The Cup of Joe was hot on Monday as well. So let's go for another hot Cup of Joe today. It's going to be out in the next hour here. Also, stay tuned to the Madden Quickie over on SportsGrid on the app. And then in-game live tonight, I will be live with Scott Wetzel from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you come over and join me there. We've been live betting these games and having a ton of fun all week. The fun will continue all the way through Friday in that 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern slot. And then you guys know you find me every weekend there on the grid from 4 to 8 p.m. Eastern on In-Game Live. So you guys, thanks again for joining me here today. We'll see you back here tomorrow, noon Eastern. All the best in all your